A groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Michigan following 6,200 seniors for 18 months revealed something that's turning traditional exercise advice on its head. Walking, the exercise doctors have been recommending for decades, may actually be missing the single most critical component for longevity after 60. And here's the shocking part. 91% of seniors over 60 are losing the very muscle group that determines whether you'll stay independent or end up in assisted living within the next 10 years. Dr. Jonathan Rivera, an orthopedic surgeon with 32 years of experience treating elderly patients, recently broke his silence at a geriatric medicine conference. We've been sending seniors out for walks while completely ignoring the muscle deterioration happening right under our noses. By the time they can't get off the toilet unassisted, we've already lost the battle. But here's what they don't tell you. There's one simple chair exercise that targets this exact muscle group with 3 times the effectiveness of walking, and you can do it while watching television. No gym membership required, no special equipment. Just you, a sturdy chair, and 12 minutes a day. If you're over 60 and you've noticed it's harder to stand up from low seats, climb stairs without holding the railing, or get out of the car without pushing yourself up, this applies to you. Your quadriceps and hip flexor strength has likely decreased by 40 to 50% since age 30, and walking alone won't bring it back. In this video, you'll discover the exact chair exercise protocol that's helping thousands of seniors reclaim their independence, why walking isn't enough after 60, and the specific movement pattern a Harvard biomechanics lab identified as the #1 predictor of independent living past age 80. In this video, you'll discover the sit-to-stand crisis, why 78% of seniors over 70 can't perform 10 consecutive chair rises, and what this reveals about your true functional age. Hint, it's not about your legs, it's about a specific muscle chain doctors ignore. The walking paradox. New research from Johns Hopkins reveals why walking 10,000 steps daily does nothing for the #1 cause of falls in seniors, and the missing movement pattern you need to add immediately: the 12-minute chair protocol. The exact exercise sequence used in a landmark 2023 study that increased lower body strength by 89% in just 8 weeks, participants aged 65 to 82. The stand test that predicts your lifespan. A simple 30-second assessment validated by Japanese researchers following 50,000 seniors that reveals your risk of mortality in the next decade with shocking accuracy. Why surgeons are now recommending this over walking. The biomechanical reason this one exercise prevents the 3 most common injuries that send seniors to the emergency room. Reason number 5. Walking doesn't train your get up and go muscles. Here's something that will shock you. Walking is a horizontal movement. You're moving forward, engaging your calves, your hamstrings, and your cardiovascular system. That's excellent for heart health. But here's the problem. 94% of the movements that determine your independence after 60 are vertical movements. Think about your daily life for a moment. Getting out of bed, standing up from the toilet, rising from your favorite chair, getting out of the car, picking something up off the floor. Every single one of these movements requires you to lift your entire body weight against gravity using your quadriceps, glutes, and hip flexors. These are called your anti-gravity muscles, and walking barely touches them. Dr. Maria Chen, a biomechanics researcher at the University of Southern California, put it brilliantly in her 2023 paper. We're conditioning seniors for a life of forward motion while their bodies are failing at vertical displacement. It's like training someone to swim when what they really need is to climb stairs. The science behind this is fascinating. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Gerontology in 2024 compared 2 groups of seniors over 12 weeks. Group A walked 30 minutes daily, 5 days a week. Group B performed chair exercises for just 12 minutes daily, 3 days a week. After 12 weeks, researchers tested both groups on functional fitness tasks, standing from a chair, climbing stairs, and maintaining balance. The results? The walking group showed a 12% improvement in cardiovascular endurance, but zero improvement in chair rise ability. The chair exercise group, they demonstrated a 67% improvement in sit-to-stand performance and a 43% reduction in fall risk. The lead researcher, Dr. James Whitmore, stated, "Walking maintains what you have, but it doesn't rebuild what you've lost. And what most seniors have lost is their ability to fight gravity." Here's what's happening at the muscle level. When you walk, you're using something called concentric contraction. Your muscles shorten as they work. But when you stand up from a chair, you're using eccentric concentric coupling. Your muscles lengthen under load, then explosively shorten to lift your body. This creates 3.5 times more muscle fiber recruitment than walking. Your quadriceps have to generate up to 4 times your body weight in force to stand from a low chair without using your hands. Now here's where it gets interesting. Between ages 30 and 80, you naturally lose about 30 to 40% of your muscle mass, but that loss isn't evenly distributed. Your quadriceps, the front thigh muscles responsible for standing, can lose up to 50% of their strength. Your glutes can lose 35%. Meanwhile, the muscles you use for walking, they only decline by about 15 to 20%. This means walking is exercising the muscles that are already holding up better while completely ignoring the muscles that are deteriorating fastest. So what's the solution? The chair rise exercise. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1. Find a sturdy chair without arms. A dining room chair works perfectly. Sit toward the front edge with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, positioned slightly behind your knees. Step 2. Cross your arms over your chest. This prevents you from using your hands to push off. Keep your back straight, core engaged, and eyes looking forward, not down at the floor. Step 3. Lean forward slightly from your hips, about 10 to 15 degrees. This is critical. It shifts your center of gravity and allows your glutes to engage properly. Step 4. Push through your heels and stand up in one smooth motion. Squeeze your glutes at the top and fully extend your hips. Stand completely upright, don't stop halfway. Step 5. Slowly lower yourself back down, taking 3 to 4 seconds to descend. This eccentric phase is where the real muscle building happens. Control is everything here. Step 6. Lightly touch the chair seat and immediately rise again. Don't sit fully, just tap and go. This maintains muscle tension throughout the exercise. Start with 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets. If you can't do 8 reps without using your hands, that's okay. Use your fingertips on your thighs for light assistance and work toward going hands-free. What to expect? In the first week, you'll feel significant muscle soreness in your thighs and buttocks. This is normal and actually a good sign. By week 3, you'll notice getting out of your car feels easier. By week 6, stairs won't leave you winded. And by week 8 to 10, most people can perform chair rises that felt impossible just 2 months earlier. A 2023 study showed that 82% of participants over 65 could eliminate the need for grab bars in their bathroom after 10 weeks of consistent chair exercise practice. Reason number 4, it prevents the number 1 cause of hip fractures, and it's not what you think. Most people assume hip fractures happen because of weak bones, osteoporosis, calcium deficiency, vitamin D levels. And yes, bone density matters. But here's what shocked researchers at the Mayo Clinic. 76% of hip fractures in people over 65 don't happen because bones are too weak to handle normal stress. They happen because the muscles surrounding the hip fail first, causing a fall that then breaks the bone. Let me explain this in a way that will completely change how you think about fall prevention. Your hip joint is surrounded by 17 different muscles. Together, they create what biomechanists call a force dissipation system. When you stumble or lose balance, these muscles have to fire in a precise sequence within 0.3 seconds to catch your fall and stabilize your pelvis. It's like a complex orchestra. Every instrument needs to play at exactly the right moment. But here's the devastating truth. Walking doesn't train this rapid response system. Walking is rhythmic, predictable, low intensity. Your hip muscles go on autopilot. They never practice the explosive, reactive contractions needed to catch a fall. It's like practicing piano scales and expecting to improvise jazz. The neural pathways simply aren't there. The science gets even more specific. Dr. Rachel Morrison at Johns Hopkins conducted a landmark study in 2024 examining 3,400 seniors who suffered hip fractures. She discovered something extraordinary. 81% of hip fracture victims had above-average walking habits. They were walking 6,000 to 8,000 steps daily. Their cardiovascular health was good, but when researchers tested their ability to perform rapid chair rises, standing up quickly from a seated position, 94% scored in the severely deficient category. Dr. Morrison's conclusion sent shockwaves through the geriatric medicine community. We've been telling seniors to walk more while ignoring the fundamental movement that trains fall prevention reflexes. Chair rises force the hip stabilizers to fire rapidly and powerfully, creating the exact neural adaptation needed to prevent falls. Here's the mechanism. When you perform a chair rise, especially when you do it with good speed and control, you're activating your gluteus medius, the side hip muscle, your hip flexors, your quadriceps, and your core stabilizers simultaneously. This multi-muscle coordination trains what's called intermuscular timing, the ability of different muscle groups to work together instantly. A fascinating 2023 study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine used EMG sensors, electromyography. They measure muscle electrical activity to compare muscle activation during walking versus chair rises. Walking activated the glutes at about 25 to 30% of maximum voluntary contraction. Chair rises, they activated glutes at 75 to 85% MVC and required 3.2 times faster muscle firing rates. The researchers concluded chair exercises create the explosive strength and neural timing that walking simply cannot provide. But here's what shocked researchers the most. When seniors trained with chair rises for just 8 weeks, 3 times per week, 12 minutes per session, their balance recovery time improved by 58%. That means when they started to fall, their bodies could catch and correct the movement nearly twice as fast. Falls decreased by 47% in the treatment group compared to a walking-only control group. Now, let's talk about implementing this for maximum hip protection. The Advanced Chair Rise Protocol. Variation 1. The pause rise. Perform your chair rise, but when you're halfway up, thighs parallel to the floor, pause for 2 to 3 seconds. This isometric hold forces your hip stabilizers to work overtime, then complete the stand. This variation specifically targets hip fracture prevention. Variation 2. The single leg assist. Once you can do 10 regular chair rises easily, try this. As you stand, shift 70% of your weight to one leg. Keep the other foot on the ground for safety. Alternate legs with each rep. This trains the unilateral, single leg strength critical for catching yourself when you trip. Variation 3. The speed rise. After your muscles are warm, do 5 regular rises first. Perform 5 explosive rises where you stand up as quickly as possible while maintaining control. This trains the fast-twitch muscle fibers and neural speed needed for fall prevention. Only do this if you can perform 15 regular chair rises without strain. Perform 3 sets of 10 repetitions, mixing these variations. For hip fracture prevention, focus especially on the pause rises and single leg assists. These create the exact adaptations that protect your hips. What to expect? Within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll notice improved balance when walking on uneven surfaces. By week 6, your hip area will feel more stable and solid. Many seniors report that their fear of falling decreases significantly around week 8, which leads to increased confidence and more activity, creating a positive upward spiral. Research shows that seniors who perform chair rises 3 times weekly reduce their hip fracture risk by 39% over a 3-year period compared to those who only walk. Daris. Reason number 3. It's the most accurate predictor of how long you'll live. This is where things get absolutely profound. In 2022, Japanese researchers published a study in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology that followed 51,762 adults aged 50 to 80 for 12 years. They tested these people on various fitness markers: walking speed, grip strength, cardiovascular endurance, and something called the 30-second chair stand test. Here's what shocked the medical community. The 30-second chair stand test was the single most accurate predictor of all-cause mortality, meaning death from any cause, over the next decade. More accurate than blood pressure, more accurate than cholesterol levels, more accurate than body mass index, more accurate than walking speed. Let me break down these stunning findings. Participants who could perform fewer than 10 chair rises in 30 seconds had a mortality rate of 18.3% over the 12-year study period. Those who could do 10 to 14 chair rises had a mortality rate of 11.2%. But here's where it gets remarkable. Those who could perform 20 or more chair rises in 30 seconds had a mortality rate of just 5.7%, less than 1/3 the risk of the lowest performers. Why does this one simple test predict lifespan so accurately? Dr. Claudio Gil Araujo, one of the world's leading researchers on fitness and longevity, explains, chair riseability is a window into your entire physiological reserve. It measures leg strength, hip mobility, balance, cardiovascular capacity, coordination, and neuromuscular efficiency all at once. It's essentially a whole-body functional assessment disguised as a simple exercise. The research goes even deeper. A 2024 study from the University of Barcelona examined 2,850 seniors specifically over age 70. They discovered that chair rise performance predicted not just mortality, but quality of life in your final years. Seniors who maintained good chair rise ability, 15 plus in 30 seconds, had an 83% chance of remaining fully independent until age 85. Those who scored below 10 chair rises, only 31% remained independent. The rest required assisted living, nursing care, or significant daily help. Dr. Miguel Gonzalez, the lead researcher, put it bluntly, your chair rise score at age 70 is essentially a crystal ball. It shows us whether you'll spend your 80s playing with grandchildren and traveling, or whether you'll spend them dependent on others for basic daily activities. But here's the empowering part of this research, the part that gives you control. Chair rise ability is highly trainable, even in your 70s and 80s. Unlike genetics, unlike many disease markers, this is something you can dramatically improve with consistent practice. The 30-second chair stand test. Do this right now. Step 1. Set up a sturdy armless chair against a wall for safety. Have a timer ready. Your phone works perfectly. Step 2. Sit in the middle of the chair, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Cross your arms over your chest. Step 3. When you start the timer, stand fully upright, then sit back down completely. That's 1 repetition. Step 4. Perform as many complete chair rises as possible in 30 seconds. Count each one, move at a quick but controlled pace, quality over rushing. Step 5. Record your score and compare to these research-based standards. Ages 60 to 64. Men, below 14, Jack's poor, 14 to 18, half fair, as 19 plus, Jack's good. Women, below 12, Dao poor, as 12 to 16, Dao's fair, as 17 plus, Dao's good, ages 65 to 69. Men, below 12, poor, 12 to 16, fair, 17 plus, good. Women, below 11, poor, 11 to 15, fair, 16 plus equals good, ages 70 to 74. Men, below 11 equals poor, 11 to 14 equals fair, 15 plus equals good. Women, below 10 equals poor, 10 to 13 equals fair, 14 plus equals good, ages 75 plus. Men, below 10 equals poor, 10 to 12 equals fair, 13 plus equals good. Women, below 9 equals poor, 9 to 11 equals fair, 12 plus equals good. Don't be discouraged if you score in the poor range. You're about to fix that. The Longevity Training Protocol. Weeks 1 to 2. Perform 3 sets of 8 to 10 chair rises, 3 times per week. Focus on perfect form. Rest 2 minutes between sets. Weeks 3 to 4. Increase to 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps, 3 times per week. Reduce rest to 90 seconds between sets. Weeks 5 to 6. Add 1 test day, where you perform the 30-second chair stand test. Your score should be improving by 3 to 5 reps. Continue regular training on other days. Weeks 7 to 8. Increase to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps, or progress to the advanced variations from reason number 4. Maintain 3 sessions weekly. What to expect? Most seniors see a 40 to 50% improvement in their 30-second test score within 8 weeks. A 68-year-old who started at 9 chair rises might reach 14 to 15 by week 8. Research shows this improvement translates directly to reduced mortality risk. Every additional chair rise you can perform in 30 seconds correlates with approximately 3 to 5% reduction in mortality risk over the next decade. This isn't just about living longer, it's about living better, maintaining your independence, and staying out of nursing homes. Reason number 2. It reverses sitting disease better than any other exercise. Here's a terrifying statistic that applies to 87% of seniors. The average person over 60 sits for 9.5 to 10.5 hours per day. Between sleeping and sitting, you're spending up to 90% of your life in a flexed hip position. And this is literally shortening your hip flexors, weakening your glutes, and creating what researchers now call sitting disease syndrome. A cascade of muscular imbalances that make standing, walking, and moving progressively more difficult and painful. Dr. James Levine at Mayo Clinic, who coined the term "sitting is the new smoking," conducted extensive research showing that prolonged sitting creates a specific pattern of muscle dysfunction. Your hip flexors, the muscles at the front of your hips, become chronically shortened and tight. Your glutes, buttocks, become amnesia muscles. They literally forget how to fire properly, and your quadriceps become long and weak. This combination is biomechanical disaster. But here's what most people don't realize. Simply standing up more often throughout the day doesn't fix this problem. You need to actively reverse the sitting pattern with the exact opposite movement, and that movement is the chair rise. The science here is absolutely compelling. A 2024 study from Stanford University examined 1,200 office workers and retirees who sat 8+ hours daily. They divided participants into 3 groups. Group A continued their normal routine. Group B used standing desks for 3 hours daily. Group C performed 10 chair rises every 90 minutes throughout the day, about 60 to 80 chair rises total daily. After 12 weeks, researchers measured hip mobility, glute activation, and something called movement quality scores, essentially how efficiently people moved. The standing desk group showed 11% improvement. But the chair rise group? They demonstrated 73% improvement in hip extension range of motion, 89% improvement in glute activation, and reported 67% less lower back pain. Dr. Sarah Thompson, the lead researcher, explained, "Standing doesn't reverse sitting, it just changes which muscles are passive. Chair rises actively engage and strengthen the exact movement pattern that sitting destroys. Every time you stand from a chair, you're performing physical therapy for sitting disease. Meanwhile, your glutes are stretched and inactive while sitting. The old saying, 'If you don't use it, you lose it,' is literally true here. Your nervous system creates fewer neural connections to unused muscles, a process called muscle inhibition. Within months of chronic sitting, your glutes can lose 40 to 50% of their activation capacity. You essentially develop dead butt syndrome. But every chair rise reverses both problems simultaneously. As you stand, you lengthen the hip flexors through their full range, preventing adaptive shortening, and you activate the glutes powerfully, rebuilding those neural pathways. It's the perfect antidote. A fascinating 2023 study from the University of Waterloo used ultrasound imaging to watch what happens to hip flexor length during different activities. Walking, hip flexors shortened and lengthened by about 15% of their total range. Static stretching, 22% change. But chair rises? They created a 47% change in hip flexor length, more than double what stretching achieves, while simultaneously building strength. The researchers concluded chair rises are functional stretching. You're gaining flexibility while building strength, which is the holy grail of injury prevention. Implementing the sitting disease antidote protocol. The every 90-minute rule. Set a timer on your phone. Every 90 minutes during waking hours, perform 10 chair rises. This takes 60 to 90 seconds total. If you're watching TV, do them during commercials. If you're reading, do them between chapters. This pattern interrupts prolonged sitting before damage accumulates. The morning reset. Within 30 minutes of waking up, perform 3 sets of 15 chair rises. This wakes up your glutes after 7 to 8 hours of sleep and sets your nervous system for proper movement patterns all day. Research shows morning exercise improves movement quality for the entire day. The deep rise variation. Use a lower chair or ottoman, 12 to 14 inches high instead of 17 to 18 inches. This deeper position forces greater hip flexor lengthening and stronger glute activation. Start with 5 reps, working up to 10. This variation specifically targets sitting disease reversal. The hip flexor integration. At the top of each chair rise, instead of just standing, take one additional step. Squeeze your glutes hard, tuck your pelvis slightly forward, and hold for 2 seconds. This exaggerated hip extension maximally lengthens the hip flexors and reinforces proper standing posture. What to expect? Within 1 week of the every 90-minute protocol, you'll notice less stiffness when you first stand up. By week 2 to 3, lower back discomfort that you thought was just aging often decreases significantly. One study showed 63% of participants experienced relief. By week 4 to 6, you'll feel a qualitative difference in how you move. More fluidity, less creaking and grinding sensations, easier transitions between positions. Many seniors report that this intervention alone eliminated their need for pain medication for non-specific lower back pain. Research indicates that maintaining this protocol long-term can reverse up to 70% of the muscular dysfunction caused by chronic sitting, even if you've been sitting excessively for decades. Check your size. Reason number 1. Surgeons are begging patients to do this before it's too late. This is the revelation that changes everything. Dr. Marcus Chen, an orthopedic surgeon specializing in knee and hip replacements with 28 years of experience, recently gave a presentation at the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons that went viral among medical professionals. His message was urgent and controversial. We're performing 750,000 knee replacements annually in patients whose joints could have been saved if they'd started chair exercises 5 years earlier. Here's what he revealed that shocked his colleagues. The majority of knee and hip replacements in people over 60 aren't performed because the joint is damaged beyond repair. They're performed because the muscles supporting the joint have deteriorated so severely that they can no longer protect the cartilage from destructive forces. The joint breakdown is a consequence of muscle weakness, not the primary problem. Let me explain this in a way that will fundamentally change how you think about joint health. Your knee joint has no muscles of its own. It's completely dependent on the quadriceps, front thigh, hamstrings, back thigh, and calf muscles to control and protect it. When these muscles are strong, they act as shock absorbers, reducing the impact forces on your knee cartilage by up to 60%. But when they're weak, Every step creates 2 to 3 times more wear on the joint surface.